Welcome back, guys, on another new episode of Get Through Show, your favorite YouTube show, the show that teaches the young one how to behave in the society. Remember, today we have a guest in the house, and the topic says, why do parents like to compare their child to others? I'm a typical example of that, but let's find out from the rest of the squad. All right, welcome back. I told you I have amazing people in the studio, and of course, we have a guest in our midst, which is Mr. Edison, and followed by Melody. And also, on my left hand side, I have your lady Aisha. It's your boy Victor Chibuzo. You already know the topic. Why do parents like to compare their child to others? I will start with you, Mr. Edison. What do you have to say about this topic?
So when it comes to comparison, right, it actually starts from when parenthood starts, right? When a woman gets pregnant, that's where the comparison starts. Like she starts asking people who have already been pregnant before, like how does it feel when maybe you are 3 months pregnant? How does it like how come your stomach is big at this time and mine is small? That's where all the comparison starts.
Okay.
So everything starts from before birth, and after birth, they still compare notes with people. It's good to benchmark, right? It's good to compare notes, but for doctors, like for a reason or purpose, for like you going to see your doctor or something, but not for a purpose of discriminating or looking down upon the child and whatever is happening in his or her lives. You understand? So, because me myself, I've been a victim of that. My parents normally compare me with my friends. You understand? There was this friend who was very good in school, like he was very good, and I wasn't. I was an average student, and this guy was like he's excellent. And he comes to my house, and my parents compare me with him. Why can't you do better like this guy? Why can't you do this, do that?
Was your friend?
And he was my friend, my very good friend. You understand? But now, like, we growing up, I see I have a different passion, and he has something different. Whatever he would do, that's like would put him there. I'll do that same thing, and I wouldn't have that thing. But our parents don't know that, right? We are all unique in our own ways.
And we have graces that follows us.
Yeah. And our parents don't know that. Like, and they are supposed to know that, and they are supposed to treat us as such. They are supposed to recognize how unique we are from birth, and then treat us as such. But they don't do that. They instead.
I think, Mr. Edison, I think I can relate to what you're trying to say because I've been there, right? Which to me, it's what helped me to be like the kind of a man I am today, or maybe let me put it this way, that makes me to be stronger, in the sense that when I was growing up with my siblings, né, the comparison is much more beneficial to me and my siblings because why? In some actual senses, we sometimes when we're watching movies and all that, while it's time for people to do their homeworks and assignments and all that, so I grew up in that kind of complex whereby flats ne, people do things outside the house before people, it's actually rich people that uses maybe washing machines and all that, but people do laundries outside, you know. So my parents would be like, if either we watching movies and all, they will drag you outside for you to see what other kids are really doing, which we kind of start doing that, not forcefully, but my mom will make you feel less of yourself because you're not actually doing what you're supposed to do at that particular time, and then you're watching movie, you know. So, and also I remember when my kid sister cannot even cut the onions. She always give excuse that maybe blah blah blah, she's crying. So my mom was actually by the neighbors. They were talking, and the age mate of my sister is actually in the kitchen helping the mom to. You know what my mom did? She came outside, come to our flat, bring my sister, go in and say, look, what, but if it's you, you start, you know what I mean? So at a certain stage, my sister now gets used to doing such things. So for me, it actually grew us in a better way. Ne? Now, let's go to the point whereby your parents actually compare you to people that seems like they are doing well, but actually they are dealing in some certain businesses and all that. We all know like how people are so anxious to make money, right? Now your parents are comparing you like this is how old you are. You're not even driving. You're not even having a house. You're not even having a wife. You're not even having anything. You're not sending anything. But your friend is doing so, of which the comparison is fine. Maybe it's for you to sit up, but in the other way around,
It will also push
it will also make you to do things that you will not necessary to do, or doing things because now you're being pressured by your parents. You know, you get what I mean. So I think sometimes it helps, sometimes it makes you to have a loose end, in the sense that you now have to be like someone else, while you actually have to take one step at a time for your own thing to be right. But now, because this person is a fast lane and your parents are being pressured you to be who you are not. You get what I mean? So sometimes comparing your kids to others, sometimes it helps, sometimes it breaks them. You know. So Melody, I don't know if you have similar cases, or you have any idea how it can maybe bring good aspect of kids growing, or make them feel not being who they want to be, or not achieving what others or their mates have achieved. Do you get my point?
I do hear you, and I'm just like, I feel like parents shouldn't compare kids at all. Like, kids are different in every aspect. Like, this one might have this. Like, in terms of gifts, in terms of everything, kids are just different. You can't compare. I get you, like, comparison could be
But
healthy.
Aisha, if I can argue with Melody, right? She said they don't even have to compare at all. But sometimes, like I said, it do help, right? If you see your child is not sitting up, you have to give him an example of someone that is actually doing well. That you know what I mean. But I don't feel like it's not necessary to be compared. Your kids.
There's no other way to.
That's what we have to.
Can I learn?
I think it's if I can step in, I think it's a communication thing.
Yeah.
You know, and also the terms that we use, and the idea of what our parents would like to achieve. I think our parents are trying to get us people that we can model. In life, obviously, you get role models, which is somebody who's lived the experience further than you, and you're not there yet. And then we refer to those people as role models. And then what our parents then want for us, because they can't communicate what their intentions for us are, you know, because they feel like they over communicate, and you take it as if they're being maybe like they're being aggressive on you, or whatever the case is. So when they see another child models that, does what they envision wanting you to do, they'd rather want to show you or make reference to that person, not necessarily being a comparison, because they don't want you to be that person because you're their child. But I think also it's a communication thing to our parents, because they don't know how to communicate it with us, and not being forceful. You know, they're trying to show us a way, which is difficult for them to get through, because most often you'd find if a parent gets to that point where they say, look at this person, look at that person, it's because they've over communicated with you numerous times, telling you what to do, and you obviously didn't match that. You know what I mean? So now when she sees that what she's been trying to communicate to you, and she hasn't been getting that through, or he hasn't been getting that through, he then wants to reference where he sees it. So the moment that other particular child does it, and then the communication is broken, because you feel hurt, because you under the impression she wants you to be that person, which you're not, you know. And also, if they understood, like, for example, when it's career based, because it could be two different things. It could be comparison in terms of duties or chores, like you explained, Vic, and that's something different, something that you can reference. Like, look at this girl, she's cooking at this age. Look at that one. Now, those are like small things and chores. If we bring it back to what Vic was saying, and we speak about achievements, you know, somebody who's made it in life, I think it's also a communication thing. Again, it boils down to what relationship do you have with your parents, because I don't think if you had a relationship with your parents, you wouldn't be able to explain to your parents, this is where I'm at, and this is how I'm thriving and where I'm at. And any other parents, well, I would reference to mine, because my mom is such an understanding, you know, parents. They would either sympathize with where you are, they'd want to help where you are, they'd want to see you achieve, you know, and rather than comparing you with somebody that you're not even, you know, they would support you, encourage you, tell you about life, tell you about your struggles, why you're not like that person. They'd say, listen, not all in life, you know, we get to where we need to be. Some of us have to work a little bit harder. Some of us, you know what I mean? And if you have the communication also with your parents, you can also say, like, in an unhealthy way, if your parents is accusing you and making reference to somebody that does illegal things, you can sit down and have that that conversation with your parents and just be like, Mom,
One, two, three.
my pride or my principles or my personality doesn't allow me to do the things that that person does. Maybe financially I'd love to be there, but then my principles don't allow me because I wouldn't, just because financially I want to be here, I wouldn't want to go and sell drugs or I wouldn't want to do this. And then it will open up your parents to who you are, and I think they'd appreciate you even more, you know, and they'd find peace in that, and they'd accept that you're actually here. They won't, I don't think that they would want to compare you to somebody else that you're not.
Melody, you don't have to laugh because you haven't finished.
Yes, I haven't finished because someone didn't allow me to finish.
Sorry.
But at the beginning, when Aisha was talking, I didn't agree at all until you got to the point, because I wanted to also say that there's other ways to communicate things to children than to compare them to other kids. So that for me is important.
Yes, definitely.
Like, and also like the whole comparison thing, parents need to understand that kids don't have the same understanding as a parent. So in your head, you might be like, I'm comparing you so you can be better or whatever. But as a child, you're insulting me, you're making me feel worthless. You don't do that.
It's just the alignment, correct? It's like the child not understanding the parent and the parent not understanding the child.
Which for me, it could be better if you don't do such things in front of their friends as well, because that's when they feel less of themselves. Like so, but at the end of the day, I'm still saying that it makes you a better person, right? Or it makes you to be quick in life. When it comes to aging and you're not getting to some certain place level where you want to be, and now you forcefully to be like someone else, right? So either way, for me, I still stand that you either compare your child to others, but in a very good way. The thing is there's something you said
about comparison.
but at the end of the day you mentioned about communicating, right? Which for me is better as well. But now think about this. If you seen your child not actually growing the way you want, or not let me use what Edison said, like maybe you been second in class when you're in high school or something like that, and your parents know like this is your friend and he's always first. Sometimes you go backwards, right? So I think they have a right to tell you that Edison always come here with either you have to study more, or either you have to improve. I don't know. This is my own aspect. This is my own. That's why we are here. That's why we're talking about this.
The funny thing about life that I realized, right, that our first role model are our parents. We are our parents. How we shape, we might not necessarily like parallelly like end up exactly like them, but you'd find that you are your mother, you know, in some way. You see traits of your parents in you, you know, how you handle things, how you compose yourself, how you think, how you shape your ideas. And often parents shape us, you know, in who we are. And if a parent doesn't model that to a child, right, and they want their child to turn out as this beautiful apple while they're being an orange, it's very like that's you wanting a lot, you know. You can't be somebody else and you have an expectation of your child being somebody else, and then you want to forcefully get your child to be where they're not, because you also not, if you could sit with a parent that compares a child from another child's house, the question you have with your parents, are you like that child's mom? And also, do you do the same thing that that child's mom does to their mom? Because that particular child probably is modeling their parent, and that's why they like that. What model are you giving me? You know, for the mere fact we're even having this conversation that you comparing me to somebody else, I don't think is a good model. Because for the mere fact you have that, exactly, for the mere fact you have that unhealthy behavior with your mom where they want you to be somebody that you're not, they're obviously not modeling the right thing for you. You know what I mean?
Okay, but why not? I'm sorry, but why not? Well, why not do it this way? Remember, you said if you're watching your child and then you see before even talking to him or her, you know already that he's not focusing, she's not focusing. Now you have maybe complained several times,
Correct.
Then now you have to be like,
yes,
look at this,
use
because
aggressive
she's not
ways.
sitting up, she ended up like this, or look at this person, because she's focused, she got to where she have to be. So, but if I think about when you said that, I feel like also is a very good way to express it to the kids, if I may say.
sorry, and that's a good point. But it comes back to what Melody and I think Anderson was saying where you do that, where you have those conversations also matters. Because if you have it publicly or in an aggressive way, also how you say it, you know, if you sit with your child in a conversation where you're on a one-on-one, you know what I mean, and you say, you know, my child, I like the way this person does the thing, and I'm not saying that you are that person, but it's a good way of handling things, you know. Maybe you could learn a thing or two from that person. You say now it sounds different, you know. It also haunts you inside, you know, when your parent says that, you're like, no, Mom, I aspire to be like that. I'm just struggling with this and this at the moment, you know.
That's where they can help.
That's where they can help, where the parents can, or what did you do when you were at this stage, and these were the things that you're going through. Then you have that conversation with your mom.
Say something quick. Also, I think there wouldn't be comparison to begin with if parents just like looked at their kids. Like, let me just make a quick example. Like, some kids are art kids. You're gonna go put that child in a math school. Why? And then compare the child to an A student in maths. Your child is not good at maths. Put the child in a school where they're going to excel.
Correct.
That's where the whole comparing thing, like, if parents can listen to kids and see, because obviously from 2 you can see, oh no, this child likes breaking things. Maybe you want to be an engineer. Maybe you want. Do you understand? So parents also need to.
And also, every child wants to make their parents proud, right?
Yes,
So like, whatever you say, they first do what like you are talking about, instead of concentrating on what they are willing to do, right? Let's say a parent is comparing two siblings, the first child to the second one, and you are telling this second child, no, you're not good at this, you're not good at this, your brother can do it better than you. And it's always in his ear. No matter what you do, he's never going to be like his brother. Understand? And the age at which his brother is, when his brother was like him, he wasn't also like, and parents don't know that, right? They just compare it as in that instance, not thinking about.
And also, sometimes with parents, I'm not trying to sit here and defend parents, but I'm trying to, you know, seek to understand before I'm understood, because obviously I'm the child that also doesn't like comparison, but I'm trying to get to where they're coming from, you know. And often our parents have so much fear, you know what I mean? Because, you know, like, let's take to comparison a child that is smart and obviously becomes a doctor in comparison to a child that is in music and is artistic, you know. The parents respond on fear because they know with music it's not really certain, you know what I mean? So they always have that fear for you, like your disappointment, what if you don't make it, and you know, the hurt and your insecurities and what will build. And usually we all know, you know, musicians, once it's tough, they rely on drugs, then you know, we know what the outcome of a musician is, and we know obviously what the outcome of a doctor is, you know what I mean? And often for them, they want to foresee the future, which is what is wrong. They want to foresee the future, and they've already envisioned failure upon you because you're a musician. You know, they're just like, well, you're not going to be the, you know what I mean? Because the odds of you being that are very slim, you know? And that stems then from the lack of knowledge they have with your passion or your, you know what I mean? And I think if maybe like somebody who excelled in music and stuff, because you get parents that they follow into a career of a child. Like if their child is good at the specific thing, they'll take them to the games. Now that parent also applies, you know, as much as they're fearful, but they assist, they help, you know, they want to push you, they support you, you know. That parent already knows that you're not a doctor. They've accepted that. They already know that your academics are not well, but then they want to, instead of them pushing you down and saying, well, you need to study, leave this swimming thing or whatever you want to, you know, focus on. It won't make you money, you know, this and that and that. Instead of them doing that, they will then, like, you know, support you in your swimming. They'll take you to your swimming classes, you know, So it's just a fear thing with them. It's just a fear of wanting better for us, and they just don't know how to communicate that, and that's how we get affected.
I feel like parents should just like really assess themselves before going to the kids. Like, look at yourself as a parent.
Just briefly, Mr. Addison, you've been our guest, and I would like you to, like, if you were to advise, like, parents, right? What would you say? Let's say you want to advise parents that have been comparing their kids to others. You know, what can you say? Just briefly.
I would say parents should just recognize or study their children, right, and recognize their uniqueness, and then stop comparing them. Just recognize it and then help them to build upon whatever like it is. You teach them about it, the good ways and the bad ways. As we were talking about like musician, you can teach your child how to be a good musician and follow the right path through the music, you understand, without doing drugs, without doing all those kind of stuffs. You understand? So just supportive and teach them the right way to do whatever they want to do.
That's a good one. And Melody, what do you have to say?
Parents just need to sit down and talk to themselves first before speaking to their kids. That's it.
And Aisha?
I feel I understand both where Edison and Melody is coming from. I think it's a communication thing and also it's a support thing. I think if parents communicate with their children, you know, in a healthy way also, and support their children and believe in their children, you know, and stop comparison, because obviously nobody wants to be compared.
Yeah, and also I think the parents need to know that if you have time for your kids, you can actually see when they're lacking behind, and then I think either to compare to others, push the person, you know, to be better person, also to know what they have to do at a particular certain time.
I like what you said just now. You said if parents, you said if parents have time, and that's true. That's the problem. Parents don't have time. They don't want to make time, so they're not going to see that this child. Do you understand?
Actually, not doing good or doing bad. I think if also we can let people know, you know, like we the future parents, right? We're still gonna have, some of us have kids. We're still gonna have kids. So now, from this kind of topic, you already know how to keep your things right with your family. You know, give time to them, learn about what they want to do, not be forceful on them to live their career they choose for themselves, and then you want to push them to be someone else. You know, I think from there we can be happy families and all that. Yo, this topic is very interesting, and I believe if you're a parent and you're watching Get Your Show on YouTube, you need to bring your kids together. They need to watch this show with you because it's very educating. It can make you know things that you have not known before. And also, like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to always watch Get Your Show on YouTube. You will learn one or two. Don't forget, it's your boy Victor Chibuza. See you in the next episode.